Today, we gaze into the vast and boundless cosmos to uncover the life and legacy of one of history's most enigmatic astronomers, Tycho Brahe. What up, Tycho Brahe? What up, Brahe? A nobleman of Danish descent, Tycho's name has become synonymous with the birth of modern astronomy. From his groundbreaking observations of the heavens to his peculiar and tumultuous life on Earth, Tycho was a figure who balanced scientific brilliance with personal eccentricity. Was he a true pioneer, the bridge between ancient stargazing and modern celestial science? Or was his story as much about human flaws as it was about cosmic discovery? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beneath the Shadows. I'm your host, Travis Fenn, speaking to you from the heart of the Shadow Realm, my little office studio here in Ypsilanti, just office studio, as in my basement. So, crazy office studio in the Shadow Realm, though. Before we venture into Tycho's remarkable story, I want to take a moment to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out the show. Thank you for coming back and supporting the show. Your ratings, reviews, and messages mean so much. So thank you all so much for that. I'm deeply grateful for every single one of you who has chose to check out the show, chose to explore these fascinating stories with me. So thank you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please be sure to follow Beneath the Shadows on Instagram and TikTok at Beneath the Shadows Podcast. And for those looking for even more content, check out Patreon with new episodes coming out every other week on Thursdays, generally Thursday or Friday. It just kind of varies a little bit. But you get two extra episodes a month, about 25 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there, 20 to 30 minutes. You get 2 extra episodes every single month, and that is free until the end of the year. There's a couple of free episodes that will be up entirely. After that, though, it will be $3 a month starting at the beginning of the new year. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking that out as well. Beyond that, though, please feel free to reach out with your thoughts or topic ideas at beneaththeshadowspodcast@gmail.com, because I would love to hear from you. I would love so much. Now, with that out of the way, let's dim the lights, look towards the skies, and step into the life of Tycho Brahe. His story takes us from duels and golden noses to grand observatories and revolutionary discoveries. Join me as we explore the triumphs and trials of a man who charted the stars and left a legacy as infinite as the cosmos itself. On the brisk morning of December 14th, 1546, a cry pierced the air in Nudstrup, Denmark, heralding the arrival of Tycho Brahe. He was the first son of Ott Brahe, a wealthy nobleman, and Beat Bill, a woman of equal distinction and lineage. Born into privilege, Tycho's life seemed to follow the predictable arc of aristocracy, whatever. Education, service to the crown, and stewardship of family lands. Yet, even in his infancy, his fate was marked by an event that set him apart, a familial abduction. Before Tycho could walk, his uncle Jørgen Brahe, childless and immensely wealthy, laid claim to him. According to family lore, Jørgen and his wife, Inger Ox, asked to raise Tycho as their own. When the parents hesitated, Jørgen simply took the boy, a move neither entirely condoned nor contested. Tycho's parents, bound by family honor and perhaps pragmatic acquiescence, allowed the arrangement to stand. Jørgen Brahe, a prominent figure in Danish society, was as stern as he was generous. Under his guardianship, Tycho's life became a blend of strict discipline and access to intellectual riches. Jørgen, a man of Renaissance ideals, believed in nurturing both the body and the mind. He ensured Tycho received an education befitting of a future statesman, immersing him in Latin, literature, and the intricacies of court politics. Yet, despite his surrogate father's ambitions, Tycho's natural curiosity often led him astray. He found himself captivated by the vast landscapes of Brahe Estates, his eyes lingering on the distant horizon where the earth seemed to kiss the heavens. One night, a chance encounter with a traveling almanac sowed the seeds of Tycho's destiny. The young boy, no older than 10, pored over its pages, marveling at the meticulous calculations predicting lunar phases and eclipses. How could mere humans anticipate such celestial dances? celestial? Yeah, celestial. This question would linger in his mind for years to come. By 1559, Tycho was sent to the University of Copenhagen at the tender age of 13, expected to study law, a path befitting to his noble station. He attended lectures on jurisprudence and governance, diligently fulfilling his uncle's expectations. Yet, a celestial event would soon upend his carefully laid future. On August 21st, 1560, the skies over Copenhagen darkened as a solar eclipse captivated the city. Tycho joined a crowd of scholars and citizens, their faces turned skyward as the moon devoured the sun. But Tycho's fascination lay not only with the phenomenon itself, but also with the prediction that preceded it. He later recalled in his notes, "It was the work of numbers and observation that foretold such a marvel." The eclipse sparked a fire within him. Tycho abandoned the rigid confines of legal studies and delved into the burgeoning field of astronomy. In secret, he acquired books on celestial mechanics and studied Ptolemy, Copernicus, and other astronomical minds. His uncle Jürgen, unaware of this intellectual rebellion, continued funding his education, unwittingly enabling Tycho's celestial aspirations. The seeds of Tycho's ambition were sown during these formative years. His abduction by Jürgen Brahe, through an act of familial politics, had placed him in the environment where discipline met opportunity. As he grew, so too did his resolve to understand the heavens, a determination that would soon propel him into the annals of scientific history. In 1562, Tycho's hunger for knowledge pushed him beyond the confines of Copenhagen. With his uncle Jürgen Brahe's continued patronage, he traveled to Leipzig, one of Europe's intellectual hubs, to further his studies. Officially, he remained a law student, but his clandestine pursuit of astronomy deepened. Tycho's days were filled with lectures and debates, but his nights belonged to the stars. It was in Leipzig that Tycho encountered his first major challenge as an aspiring astronomer, the lack of reliable instruments. Frustrated by the inaccuracies of existing tools, he resolved to make his own. Using basic materials and a sharp eye for precision, Tycho constructed a quadrant, a simple device to measure the altitude of celestial bodies. So he's doing out of this world type shit for the time. He's way ahead of his time on fucking looking at the stars and charting fucking planets and stuff. So with it, he began charting the sky, recording the positions of stars and planets with an accuracy unmatched by his peers. His efforts were not without resistance. Astronomy in the mid-16th century was seen by many as a speculative art rather than a rigorous science. Tycho's professors dismissed his interest as a diversion, and his noble peers ridiculed his passion for what they considered an esoteric hobby. Yet Tycho persisted, driven by a belief that careful observation and calculation could unravel the mysteries of the cosmos. This conviction reached a turning point in 1563, when Tycho observed a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. The alignment had been predicted by existing astronomical tables, but as Tycho recorded the event, he noticed significant discrepancies between the prediction and reality. The realization struck him like a thunderbolt. The tools and methods of his predecessors were flawed. "I saw that it was necessary to reform astronomy," he later wrote. By the time Tycho returned to Denmark in 1565, his passion for the stars had become unshakable. Though he continued to outwardly honor his family's wishes, the young nobleman knew that his destiny lay not in the courts or estates, but in the heavens above. The eclipse of law in his life was complete, and Tycho Brahe had set his sights on a far greater domain, the universe itself. By 1566, Tycho Brahe was no longer a boy caught between familial duty and celestial obsession. At 20, he carried himself with the confidence of a young nobleman abroad, his intellect sharpened by years of study in Leipzig and Copenhagen. Yet, beneath his polished exterior, Tycho's fiery temperament and unyielding commitment to his beliefs often led to conflict, an attribute that would soon leave an indelible mark on his life and his face. Tycho's journey took him to the University of Rostock in northern Germany, a renowned center for learning and debate. Here, he immersed himself in philosophy, rhetoric, and science, continuing to hone his astronomical expertise. But the university's intellectual atmosphere often came with heated arguments, especially among young men eager to prove themselves. One such debate arose during a social gathering, where Tycho found himself in a passionate debate with a fellow nobleman, Manderup Parsberg. The subject of the argument is lost to history. Some say it concerned a mathematical formula, others claim it was a matter of honor. But what is certain is that neither man would yield. In the traditions of the time, such disputes were not settled with words, but with swords. Words with an S at the front of it. All right. On a cold December night, the two men met in secret for a duel. It was a short but violent exchange, and Tycho, though skilled, was not quick enough. A sharp blow from Parsberg's blade sliced across Tycho's face, severing a portion of his nose. The majority of his nose. Bleeding and humiliated, Tycho was carried back to the university, where physicians worked to stop the bleeding and prevent infection. The wound would heal, but the scar it left was permanent. Tycho's once handsome visage now bore a disfigurement that would define him as much as his intellect. Ever resourceful, he turned to the emerging art of prosthetics. He commissioned a replacement nose, crafted from a blend of brass and gold, which he affixed with a paste or adhesive for the rest of his life. The entirety of the entire rest of his life, every fucking day. He actually had a couple multiple noses, as far as I know. There was a gold and silver one, this brass and gold one, maybe even a copper one of some sort. The exact composition of the prosthetics remain a subject of speculation, but Tycho wore it with pride, often polishing it to a gleaming finish. So just has a fucking sparkling nose, this guy. Crazy sparkling nose that he's gluing on every fucking day of his life. Just terrible. Having to wake up every day, you look in the mirror, you're like, shit, my nose. Nose looks like fucking garbage. I wonder if he just puts it on before he even looks in the mirror. He doesn't even have to see himself without the nose. He's like, yeah, I look like fucking ball sack. I'm not gonna do that. The duel marked a turning point in Tycho's life. The injury and its aftermath tempered his impulsive nature, forcing him to channel his passions into his work. He returned to his studies with renewed vigor, determined to leave a legacy that extended far beyond the scars on his face. His nose, however, became a symbol of his eccentricity. Visitors to Tycho's later observatories would marvel at the nobleman with the gold nose, a man whose appearance was as unique as his intellect. To Tycho, it was both a reminder of his youthful recklessness and a testament to his resilience, a badge of honor earned in the pursuit of truth and knowledge. Despite their violent encounter, Tycho and Parsberg eventually reconciled. Parsberg, perhaps out of guilt or respect for Tycho's brilliance, became a lifelong supporter. The duel, though a dark moment in Tycho's life, paradoxically strengthened his resolve. He began to see his work as a battle not just against ignorance, but against the limitations of human perception itself. If the heavens held secrets, Tycho was determined to uncover them, no matter the cost. So just like light years ahead of his time. So many people that didn't understand astronomy at the time. I mean, so many people now don't understand astronomy, but just light years ahead of his time, knows that there's so much out there in the cosmos to tackle, to look at, to understand, and he just wants to gain all that knowledge that he can. So, good for him. Good for fucking Tycho. By the time Tycho left Rostock, both his reputation as a scholar and an eccentric was growing. The man with the golden nose was no longer simply a curious noble dabbling in astronomy. He was a determined innovator, ready to reshape the way humanity understood the cosmos. His next chapter would take him back to Denmark, where the heavens and a king awaited his genius. The island of Ven, nestled in the straits between Denmark and Sweden, was a serene expanse of rolling fields and rocky shores. In 1576, the quiet land was transformed into a sanctuary for scientific discovery, all thanks to Tycho Brahe and the favor of Denmark's King Frederick II. Here, Tycho would construct Uraniborg, an observatory that would stand as a testament to his genius and ambition. The journey to Ven began with King Frederick II's recognition of Tycho's talent. By the late 1570s, Tycho's precise astronomical observations and his discovery of the 1572 supernova, a new star that shattered the Aristotelian belief in an unchanging universe, had made him a prominent figure in Danish science. Frederick, eager to bolster his kingdom's intellectual prestige, offered Tycho not only financial support, but also an island to serve as the foundation for his work. Tycho accepted the offer with a mix of gratitude and audacity. He envisioned not merely an observatory, but an entire scientific community. He planned for Uraniborg, Uraniborg, I don't know, it's Uraniborg, Uraniborg, named after Urania, the muse of astronomy, to be a place where the heavens would reveal their secrets. Construction began in 1576, and Tycho spared no expense in its design. Uraniborg, I fucking hate the name of this place, and I don't know why, but like trying to say it just sucks. Uraniborg was a Renaissance masterpiece, blending architectural elegance with practical utility. Its central building housed Tycho's quarters, a library, and laboratories for chemical experiments, a testament to his polymathic interests. Surrounding the main structure were gardens cultivated for medicinal herbs, reflecting Tycho's fascination with alchemy and medicine. So he loved alchemy, loved medicine, loved astronomy. Definitely an eccentric guy, as they were saying about him. Beneath the observatory, an intricate network of underground chambers and passages provided storage for instruments and a stable environment for precise measurements. Tycho even installed an advanced heating system to ensure his equipment remained unaffected by the cold Scandinavian winters. At the heart of Uraniborg were its astronomical instruments, many of which Tycho designed and commissioned himself. These devices, crafted by master artisans, were unprecedented in their precision. Quadrants, sextants, and armillary spheres, some spanning several meters, dominated the observatory's grounds. Tycho's instruments allowed him to measure the positions of celestial bodies with an accuracy far beyond what his predecessors had achieved. Yet Tycho's brilliance extended beyond his tools. He developed meticulous observational techniques, often recording the same measurement multiple times to ensure its accuracy. As you should with most good science, most solid science is done repetitively with, the same results happening again and again, or similar results happening again and again. If you're trying to prove something is like this is what it is, that's usually how you do it in science. Do some data collection and shit. Night after night, he and his assistants braved the elements, charting the movement of stars and planets with a dedication that bordered on obsession. Life on Ven, however, was not without its challenges. Tycho's ambitious project required a small army of craftsmen, laborers, and assistants, whose efforts often clashed with the local farmers. The residents of Ven resented Tycho's demands, especially as he imposed strict rules and taxes to support Uraniborg's operations. The tension between Tycho and the island's inhabitants would simmer for years, eventually contributing to his downfall. Despite these difficulties, Uraniborg flourished. By the 1580s, it had become a beacon of scientific innovation, attracting scholars and dignitaries from across Europe. Tycho's reputation as the preeminent astronomer of his time grew, and his observations began to challenge long-standing astronomical theories. One of Uraniborg's most significant achievements was the development of Tycho's hybrid cosmological model. Rejecting both the traditional geocentric model and the heliocentric theory proposed by Copernicus, Tycho devised a system in which the Earth remained stationary at the center of the universe, while the Sun orbited the Earth and the planets orbited the Sun. Though ultimately incorrect, the Tychonic system reflected his attempt to reconcile observational evidence with theological doctrine. As the stars wheeled above Uraniborg, Tycho's instruments and data revealed the heavens with unprecedented clarity. His meticulous records of planetary motion, though not fully understood in his lifetime, would later serve as the foundation of Johannes Kepler's laws of planetary motion. And Johannes is actually like one of Tycho's assistants at some point here, ends up helping him and actually takes over a lot of his work when Tycho passes away later in the years here. By the mid-1580s, Uraniborg stood as a symbol of Tycho's vision, a place where science, art, and philosophy converged. Yet, for all its grandeur, the observatory was a fragile empire, dependent on the favor of a single king and the cooperation of a restless populace. Tycho, ever ambitious, seemed blinded to the storm clouds gathering on his horizon. Uraniborg's rise had been swift and brilliant, much like the supernova that had first brought Tycho fame. But, as with all stars, its light would eventually fade. By the late 1580s, Tycho Brahe had reached the zenith of his fame. Uraniborg, his grand observatory on the island of Ven, was a marvel of Renaissance science. His meticulous observations of the heavens had earned him acclaim across Europe, and he was hailed as the preeminent astronomer of his era. Yet, even as his instruments charted the unchanging stars, the foundation of Tycho's earthly empire began to crumble. The first cracks appeared in his relationship with the island's inhabitants. The farmers of Hven, burdened by Tycho's heavy taxes and strict demands, grew increasingly resentful. They chafed under his authority, which extended beyond scientific endeavors to the governance of the island. Tycho, for all his genius, was imperious and dismissive of their grievances. Tensions simmered for years, with disputes over land use, labor obligations, and Tycho's perceived arrogance. Despite these challenges, Tycho's work continued unabated. His observational techniques became ever more precise, and his assistants, including the mathematician Longomontanus, helped him amass a wealth of astronomical data. This period also saw Tycho's first published major work, De Nova Stella, On the New Star, which detailed his observations of the 1572 supernova. The publication cemented his reputation and underscored his challenge to Aristotelian cosmology. And also Longomontanus, Longomontanus, Longomontanus. Terrible way to say it, but that's kind of how it looks like. Longomontanus. All right. In 1588, a significant shift occurred with the death of Tycho's patron, King Frederick II. The new monarch, Christian IV, was young and far less interested in the costly project of his predecessor. As Christian became of age, he began to view Tycho's lavish lifestyle and Uraniborg's expenses as a burden on the crown's finances. Tycho, accustomed to Frederick's unwavering support, struggled to adapt to the changing political climate. Adding to his troubles, Tycho's abrasive personality alienated many at court. His insistence on maintaining control over Hven and his disputes with the Danish nobility created powerful enemies. Rumors of his eccentricities, his golden nose, his tame elk, or moose as it's sometimes reported, that reportedly drank itself to death, hell yeah, party, fucking party, and his alchemic experiments, fueled gossip and further eroded his standing. The final blow came in the early 1590s. Faced with mounting complaints from Hven's residents and pressure from Christian IV's advisors, the king withdrew his support. Tycho was stripped of his title as the island's lord, and the funding for Uraniborg was drastically reduced. The observatory, once the pride of Denmark, fell into disrepair. The instruments Tycho had painstakingly crafted began to rust, and the once bustling halls of Uraniborg grew silent. Forced to leave Hven, Tycho packed his remaining instruments and set out for a new chapter in his life. His departure marked the end of an era, not just for Uraniborg, but for Tycho himself. The island, once a beacon of scientific progress, became a relic of bygone age. In 1597, Tycho and his family embarked on a journey across Europe, seeking refuge and patronage in foreign courts. Though bitter over his treatment in Denmark, Tycho refused to give up his work. He carried with him the invaluable data he had collected over decades, determined to find a new home for his research. His wanderings eventually led him to Prague, where the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II, a known patron of the arts and sciences, welcomed him with open arms. Tycho was appointed imperial mathematician, a prestigious position that came with resources and a sense of stability. Though Uraniborg was gone, Tycho's determination to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos remained unshaken. The fall of Uraniborg was a profound loss to Tycho, a symbol of how ambition and politics could collide. Yet, in its demise, Tycho found an opportunity to reinvent himself. His journey from the heights of Hven to the halls of Prague would lead to a collaboration that would forever change the course of science. Tycho arrived in Prague in 1599, his golden nose gleaming as brightly as his resolve. Hell yeah. Though stripped of his beloved Uraniborg, he carried with him the lifeblood of his work, decades of painstaking astronomical data. Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II, an eccentric ruler with a passion for science and the occult, offered Tycho a new sanctuary. In Prague, Tycho found not only refuge, but the chance to shape a legacy that would extend beyond his lifetime. Rudolf II was an enigmatic figure, known for his fascination with alchemy, astrology, and the pursuit of hidden knowledges. His court attracted scholars, inventors, and mystics from across Europe, creating an environment where Tycho's talents were celebrated rather than questioned. As the emperor's imperial mathematician, Tycho was granted a stipend, a laboratory, and access to the intellectual elite of the empire. Tycho established his new observatory at Benátky Castle, Benatky, Benátky, just outside of Prague. Though less grand than Uraniborg, it was equipped with many of his surviving instruments. Here, Tycho resumed his celestial observations, refining his measurements of planetary motion and recording data with an accuracy that surpassed anything achieved before. Like I said, light years ahead of his time. It was crazy. His work in Prague was a continuation of the mission that had begun on Venn, to understand the heavens with unprecedented precision. It was in Prague that Tycho met the man that would carry his work into the future, Johannes Kepler. Kepler, a mathematician and astronomer from Germany, had long admired Tycho's observational skills. Though their temperaments clashed, Tycho was proud and authoritarian, while Kepler was introspective and analytical. Their collaboration would prove revolutionary. At first, Tycho was reluctant to share his data with Kepler. He viewed the younger astronomer as a subordinate, tasked primarily with assisting in calculations rather than leading independent research. Kepler, for his part, chafed under Tycho's control, but recognized the value of his mentor's observations. Their partnership was fraught with tension, yet it was underpinned by mutual respect for each other's abilities. While in Prague, Tycho continued to refine his Tychonic system of the universe, which placed the Earth at the center, with the Sun orbiting the Earth and the planets orbiting the Sun. Though incorrect, the model was an important stepping stone in the history of astronomy. Tycho's insistence on empirical observation and his challenge to established cosmological theories laid the groundwork for future discoveries. Despite his efforts, Tycho's health began to decline in early 1600s. His intense work ethic, combined with a diet heavy in rich foods and a penchant for elaborate feasts, took a toll on his body. By October 1601, Tycho fell gravely ill after attending a banquet at Rudolf's court. Accounts of his death are shrouded in mystery, with some suggesting a urinary infection while others speculate poisoning. Tycho himself reportedly lamented on his deathbed, "Let me not seem to have lived in vain." Like, let me have done something with my life. Let me be remembered for doing something with my life. And I think that's something that, a lot of people want. Something that I definitely want. Something that the majority of people, I would say, probably want with themselves. They want to be remembered for something they did in their lives. Probably something good, not something bad. But some people, either way, they want to be remembered for doing something big and, memorable in their life. Their name could be synonymous with this or that or whatever the fuck they're interested in. So Tycho would die on October 24th, 1601, at the age of 54. He was buried in Prague's Church of Our Lady before Tyne. Might be Tyne, T-Y-N, I'm guessing it's Tyne. His tomb a testament to the esteem in which he was held. Yet, Tycho's story did not end with his death. His legacy lived on through his data, and more importantly, through Johannes Kepler. After Tycho's passing, Johannes gained access to his mentor's records and used them to develop his 3 laws of planetary motion. Groundbreaking discoveries that provided the foundation for Newton's law of universal gravitation. Kepler's work, made possible by Tycho's observations, marked the true beginning of modern astronomy. So, game changer between Tycho and Johannes, fucking game changer right there. And then you get fucking Newton coming in, Isaac Newton, you're just gonna, woo, fucking science, astronomy, fucking boom, coming into age. Things that we know nowadays this is the beginning of those things. Like the true beginning of those things. There were speculations and stuff beforehand, but they really fucking took it years and years ahead of its time. So, though Tycho's geocentric model was ultimately proven incorrect, his emphasis on precise measurement and systematic observation transformed astronomy into a rigorous science. He demonstrated that progress depended not only on untested theories, but on evidence, challenging humanity to see the universe as it truly was. The death of Tycho Brahe marked the end of an extraordinary life, but his influence resonated far beyond his time. As the dust settled over Prague, his legacy was quietly carried forward by those who understood the magnitude of his contributions. Among them, Johannes Kepler emerged as the pivotal figure, transforming Tycho's meticulous observations into revolutionary breakthroughs that reshaped humanity's understanding of the cosmos. After Tycho's death, Kepler inherited his trove of astronomical data, a treasure chest of decades-long observations of the stars, planets, and celestial phenomena. Though their relationship had been strained, Kepler respected Tycho's unparalleled precision and recognized the value of his work. The Danish astronomer's recordings, particularly of Mars's orbit, became the key that unlocked the mysteries of planetary motion. Kepler's work with Tycho's data was painstakingly methodical. Over years of analysis, he discovered 3 laws that would forever change astronomy. These laws revealed the planets orbited the sun in elliptical paths, not perfect circles as previously thought, and that their motion was governed by consistent mathematical principles. The concept of celestial mechanics, rooted in Tycho's observations, laid the groundwork for Isaac Newton's theory of gravity nearly a century later. Yet Tycho's legacy extended beyond the realm of planetary motion. His insistence on empirical observation and precision inspired a generation of scientists to abandon untested assumptions and rely on evidence. He was among the first to reject the long-held Aristotelian belief in the immutable celestial realm, proving with his discovery of the 1572 supernova that the heavens were dynamic and ever-changing. This shift in perception paved the way for the scientific revolution. Tycho's observatories, though now gone, became symbols of what could be achieved with science when supported with resources and visions. Uraniborg's ruins on the island of Hven were a reminder of both the heights of human ambition and the fragility of such enterprises. Though the physical structures crumbled, the methods and spirit of inquiry that Tycho embodied endured. In the centuries following his death, Tycho's name continued to inspire. His life became a symbol of struggle between tradition and progress, between dogma and discovery. He was a man who lived on the cusp of 2 worlds, holding on to the geocentric traditions of the past while paving the way for heliocentric truths of the future. His eccentricities, his golden nose, his tame elk, his lavish lifestyle, added a layer of mystique to his story, but they were ultimately overshadowed by his contributions to science. To his admirers, he was more than a nobleman with a passion for the stars. He was a pioneer who redefined the limits of human knowledge. Modern astronomy honors Tycho Brahe in numerous ways. Craters on the Moon and Mars bear his name, as does an asteroid. These celestial markers serve as a reminder of the man who spent his life gazing at the heavens, striving to understand their secrets. His dedication to precision continues to influence the way science is practiced, emphasizing the importance of observation, experimentation, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Today, Tycho's story is not just a tale of scientific discovery, but a testament to human curiosity and resilience. From the fields of Hven to the courts of Prague, his life was marked by triumph and hardship, ambition and sacrifice. His journey, like the celestial orbits he studied, was both elliptical and enduring, circling back to inspire generation after generation. As the centuries passed, Tycho Brahe's life became a tapestry of myths and truths, woven together by admirers and skeptics alike. While his contributions to science were undeniable, the peculiarities of his character and the circumstances surrounding his death left behind an enduring air of mystery. Even as modern scholars celebrate his legacy, they are drawn to the enigmas that define the man with the golden nose. Tycho's most distinctive physical feature, his prosthetic nose, became one of his most enduring legends. The story of the duel that cost him part of his nose grew more elaborate with each retelling. While contemporary accounts suggest the replacement was crafted from brass or copper, later examinations of his remains revealed traces of gold, suggesting a more regal choice. This detail, like Tycho himself, straddled the line between practicality and grandeur, reflecting his dual nature as both a meticulous scientist and a man of flamboyant taste. Beyond the nose, tales of Tycho's eccentric lifestyle have fascinated historians. His pet elk, or moose, said to have died after drinking too much beer at a banquet, became a symbol of his peculiar sense of humor, Fucking way too much beer for that motherfucker. He got, alcohol poisoning and died. That's crazy. I can't even imagine how much beer that would take also to fucking take down an elk, take down a moose. Who knows? Fucking wild. Super drunk, super hammered. Also, I'm trying to picture riding like a drunken horse around and seeing how bad that would be. Like the horse is going to fucking fall over and fall on your ass and fucking crush you, destroy your leg or crush your fucking torso or something. His elaborate feasts, his fascination with alchemy, and his insistence on maintaining an air of nobility all painted the picture of a man who defied convention. These quirks, while often overshadowing his scientific achievements, added a human dimension to the figure who charted the stars. Yet, it was Tycho's death that sparked the greatest intrigue. In the years following his passing, rumors swirled about the true cause of his demise. Numerous reports attributed his death to a urinary infection, likely caused by his refusal to leave a banquet table to relieve himself, a gesture of politeness that proved fatal. But later speculation suggested more sinister possibilities. So often believed that he was at this dinner for the king and he didn't want to relieve himself or get up to relieve himself because it was rude and it was not the way to do things. You were supposed to be polite and wait for them to get up from the table first before you got up. So he sat there having to fucking pee and did not and got a fucking crazy urinary infection, or possibly his bladder imploded or exploded or blew up or died a little bit. Either way, it's thought that he may have died from some sort of either bladder infection, urinary infection, or like a ruptured bladder of some sort, which is just fucking wild. Hold your pee so long that your fucking bladder ruptures. Crazy. By the 17th century, Tycho's contributions were firmly embedded in the development of modern science. Johannes Kepler's laws of planetary motion, derived from Tycho's data, became a cornerstone of Isaac Newton's theory of universal gravitation. The interplay between Tycho's observational precision and Kepler's theoretical insight exemplified the collaborative nature of scientific progress, with each generation standing on the shoulders of its predecessor. In the early 20th century, suspicions of poisoning emerged, fueled by political intrigue and Tycho's strained relationships with the Danish court. Some theorized that his prodigy, Johannes Kepler, might have had a hand in his death to gain access to his invaluable data. These claims, though dramatic, lack substantial evidence. In 2010, Tycho's remains were exhumed for a second time as part of an international research project. Scientists sought to resolve lingering questions about his health, lifestyle, and the cause of his death. The analysis confirmed his meticulous care of his prosthetic nose, crafted from brass and gold, and revealed new details about his diet and physical condition. While the results did not definitively solve the mystery of his death, they underscored the enduring fascination with his life. In Denmark, Tycho became a cultural icon, celebrated as one of the nation's greatest historical figures. Memorials were erected in his honor, and his story became part of the national curriculum, taught to generations of schoolchildren as an example of Denmark's contributions to global knowledge. In 1980, NASA honored Tycho by naming one of the moon's most prominent craters after him. The Tycho crater, visible even with a modest telescope, is a reminder of his lasting impact on lunar and planetary science. Astronomers also christened an asteroid, 1677 Tycho Brahe, in his name, ensuring his presence in the solar system he worked so tirelessly to understand. As humanity pushed further into space, Tycho's spirits traveled with it. His emphasis on precision and observation echoes in missions to Mars, probes sent to distant galaxies, and the deployment of telescopes that peer deeper into the universe than he could ever have imagined. The questions he asked about the nature of the stars, the structure of the cosmos, and humanity's place within it remain central to the scientific enterprise. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have seen a resurgence of interest in Tycho's life, driven in part by technological advances that allowed scientists to revisit his observations. Space probes and telescopes provided new insights into the celestial phenomena Tycho had documented, affirming the accuracy of his measurements and the foresight of his methods. His discovery of the 1572 supernova, known as Tycho's supernova, remains a subject of study, offering clues about the life cycles of stars and the structure of the universe. His supernova is studied as a case of a Type 1a explosion, an event crucial for measuring cosmic distances and understanding the expansion of the universe. This connection between his 16th century observations and contemporary science highlights the timeless relevance of his work. Tycho's enigmatic personality extended to his scientific work. His rejection of the Copernican heliocentric model, despite mounting evidence, puzzled many. His hybrid cosmological system, which placed the Earth at the center with the Sun and planets orbiting around it, seemed a compromise between observation and tradition. Some argue that Tycho's resistance to fully embrace heliocentrism stemmed from his devout Lutheran beliefs and a desire to avoid conflict with the Church. Others see it as a reflection of his cautious, evidence-driven approach, unwilling to accept theories he could not fully prove. In the modern era, Tycho's life and work continue to be studied and celebrated. His contributions to astronomy, particularly his precise measurements and detailed records, remain a cornerstone of the field. Yet, his story is also a reminder of the complexity of the scientific progress, the interplay between individual genius, cultural contexts, and the limitations of human understanding. Tycho Brahe was a man of paradoxes, a nobleman who challenged authority, a scientist who clung to outdated ideas, and a visionary whose work laid the groundwork for revolutions he did not live to see. His legacy, like the night sky he devoted his life to studying, is vast and filled with wonder. As the final chapter of Tycho's life closed, his story remains unfinished, a constellation of unanswered questions and enduring truths. His work continues to inspire, his eccentricities continue to fascinate, and his spirit, ever curious, lives on in the pursuit of knowledge. Tycho's story is also a deeply human one, marked by his struggles with authority, his quest for recognition, and his pursuit of truth. He reminds us that progress is rarely a straight path. It is a journey shaped by perseverance, collaboration, and even failure. His geocentric model, though ultimately incorrect, was a necessary stepping stone to a greater understanding. It demonstrated that scientific progress is as much about refining errors as it is about making discoveries. In his final words, Tycho reportedly said, "Let me not seem to have lived in vain," as I said earlier. So everyone wants to, be known for something, be like they meant something to the world, like they meant something to what they had passion for, like they had a place in the world, like they did something bigger than themselves and will be remembered for that. These words, whether false or true, resonate with anyone who ever sought meaning in their work. Tycho's life, with all its triumphs and contradictions, offers a resounding answer. He did not live in vain. His contributions bridged worlds, between earth and sky, science and art, past and future. As the night sky stretches infinitely above, Tycho Brahe's presence lingers. The stars he studied, the nova that bears his name, and the celestial map he crafted remain as a testament to his life's work. For those who gaze upwards, seeking to understand the universe, Tycho stands as a guiding light, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is one of humanity's greatest endeavors. In the end, Tycho's story is not just about the past, it is about the enduring drive to explore, to question, and to dream. His name, etched in the fabric of the cosmos, ensures that his legacy will continue to shine, as timeless and unyielding as the stars themselves. The legacy of Tycho Brahe endures, not just in the charts of celestial motion he left behind, but in the spirit of discovery that defines humanity. Tycho's life, with its triumphs and tragedies, reminds us that progress is a mosaic, each piece a mix of brilliance, struggle, and perseverance. His was a life devoted to understanding the cosmos, but it was also a testament to the beauty of the human spirit and its unyielding curiosity. The ruins of Uraniborg, weathered and reclaimed by nature, stand as a silent witness to Tycho's once thriving observatory. While the instruments and walls have faded, the ideas that were forged there remain eternal. Tycho's data lives on, carried forward by those who dared to dream alongside him. His collaboration with Johannes Kepler reshaped our understanding of planetary motion, and his dedication to precision became the gold standard for observational science. In modern astronomy, his legacy is a reminder of the importance of foundational work. The stars and supernova he documented are now explored with advanced technology, but the questions he posed about the universe's structure and humanity's place within it remains central to our quest for knowledge. Tycho's life was more than the sum of his scientific achievements. It was a reflection of the complexities of being human. Ambition tempered by humility, genius marred by flaws, and a search for meaning that transcended the boundaries of his time. His story inspires not because he was perfect, but because he was real. He grappled with the same challenges that define us all: the tension between tradition and innovation, the struggle to be remembered, and the desire to leave a meaningful mark on the world. His last recorded words, "Let me not seem to have lived in vain," resonate as a plea that echoes across centuries. They speak not only to his own aspirations, but to a universal hope shared by all who strive to create, explore, and leave a legacy. And yeah, most people want to leave a legacy or leave a mark on this world that is meaningful, that is bigger than themselves, like I've been saying this whole time. Something that I think we all strive for in some way or another in our own vision of what being meaningful or having a legacy means. We all strive for that in our own way. Today, as we look at the stars, we stand in the shadow of Tycho Brahe's work. His observations of the heavens laid the groundwork for scientific revolutions and inspired generations of dreamers. The celestial bodies he so meticulously charted continue to guide humanity, both as navigational tools and as symbols of our infinite potential. Tycho Brahe's life reminds us that the stars are not just distant points of light, but gateways to understanding, of the universe, of each other, and of ourselves. His journey from the courts of Denmark to the observatories of Prague, from Earth to the endless expanse of the cosmos, reflects the unyielding human desire to reach beyond what we know. As the stars he studied continue their eternal dance across the night sky, Tycho Brahe's legacy shines brightly among them, a star that will never set. And that's it for Tycho. Tycho's gone, his legacy endures, and we are going to be going into our final takeaways. No main marks today, but I want to say thank you all. Thank you for joining me on this cosmic journey into the life and legacy of Tycho Brahe. From his groundbreaking astronomical observations to the intrigue of his personal life, Tycho's story reminds us of humanity's enduring fascination with the stars and our relentless pursuit of knowledge. Also, like, this dude had a fucking pet moose that he gave so much beer that it ended up dying from alcohol poisoning. And other than that, such a bizarre thing, he ended up holding in his pee, not going pee, holding his bladder until his bladder either exploded or he got such a bad urinary infection that it killed him. That is how his death happened. He was at a dinner for a noble, and he did not want to excuse himself as it was rude or seen as impolite, and so he stayed at the table until his bladder fucking gave up on him, killed him, until his fucking bladder killed him. He's such an eccentric and crazy dude, and it's been such a fascinating time to look into his story. So thank you for being here, and thank you for checking out the show. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, family, or anyone who loves a good story about the triumphs and mysteries of history. Don't forget to rate and review the show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, any of them help immensely. It helps move the show up the charts, and I can't appreciate you guys enough for doing that. It helps more than you know. And come back each week for more tales that blend the strange, mysterious, and inspiring. Be sure to follow Beneath the Shadows on Instagram and TikTok at Beneath the Shadows Podcast, and check out the Patreon at Beneath the Shadows for exclusive shorter episodes every 2 weeks. They are free, or the first, 6 of them will be free forever, and after the new year, after the start of 2025, it'll be $3 a month for 2 episodes every other week on Thursdays. Those are about 20 to 30 minutes, just depends on the topic and the amount of time I get to do researching them. The latest Patreon episode explored the dramatic events of the disappearance of the Beaumont children in Australia in 1966, and the next one will take a fascinating detour into a lesser-known historical mystery. I was thinking about doing a full episode, but ended up being just the Patreon episode. It's going to be about the Emu War of Australia. It's a very interesting, kind of bizarre, and pretty funny topic that we will tackle on the next Patreon. But looking ahead, join me next week as we dive into the fascinating, bizarre, and downright terrifying sometime story of filicidal fathers. So fathers who have killed their kids. It's a tale that will be crazy, has a lot of unexpected outcomes, and is kind of gory and graphic in a lot of ways. So please come back and check out next week on that one. But until then, until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and as always, Keep looking beneath the shadows. Take care, everyone.
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!